Hey, Mike Mueller from areweconnected.com, and I'm going to show you today how to do a basic, and that's in quotation marks, a basic post using WordPress 5.0 and the Gutenberg editor. Let's do this. Okay, first thing you'll notice is I've got actually two different windows open up. One screen, two windows. I'm doing this on my larger monitor so that I can go side to side and kind of show you. I've written the post already. It's written in a text editor. I will never do this in real life, but I'm doing this just so I can make the video maybe a little bit easier, make it flow through a little bit better. You could do this. You can write in a text editor. Don't write in Word. Write in a text editor of sort, or just save it as text in Word. That works as well too. But let's go write the post. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, you can see I'm logged in. You can see I'm logged in because you got that little black bar. Now you can come up here and you can go to New Post. And of course your windows are going to look a little bit different from mine. Or you can go on the dashboard and you can go the same way, New Post, or you can go Add New over here. No matter what, you're going to get here to the same exact place. So what we're going to do is, this is the new Gutenberg editor that came in WordPress 5.0 and above. So I think WordPress 5.3 is coming out to 5.2, sorry, 5.0.2 is coming out tomorrow. It's going to add a little bit of performance and things like that, but anything 5 point anything is going to have the Gutenberg editor. So let's write a basic post. And I say basic because what I'm talking about is text. And hey, let's throw in some images. And you know what? We're going to get really wild today, and we're going to do a couple of bullet points and things like that, just because I want to show you. So if you haven't already, go check out my earlier post as far as that goes. But let's start. So first thing it does is it starts you with add a title. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here, and this is how I'm writing my post because it's already been written. So that's the title. There's no styling involved in a title. There's nothing. It's just, you know what, here's the title. What Gutenberg is going to do is it's going to try and give you what you need when you need it. And I'll explain that in the next one. So now we're going to start writing, or we're going to type, we're going to choose a block. So it's actually kind of giving you instructions, but you'll notice up here at the toolbar, up here at the very top, there's nothing, that kind of thing. So watch what happens when I do my first paragraph. Actually, it's going to be a couple of paragraphs. So I'm going to go all the way over to here, and I'm going to grab all of that, and we're going to copy. I'll do this typically in keyboard shortcuts, but you can do, you know, that was a mouse click as far as that goes. So I'm going to start writing or typing a block. Now, I've got this little plus bar up here that I could do, or I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to paste. Ooh, I want to do it via mouse. So paste. You notice I didn't paste and match style. I just pasted because we're just doing the text that goes in here. So what just happened was it created what are called blocks. Blocks are blocks of text in this particular case. So what happens is, if you look over at my thing, my text post over here on the right, I've got a couple of different paragraphs, and I break things up with a lot of white space. Very simply, you just start writing. Now, you'll also notice, like I said, Gutenberg drops things in and gives them to you when you need them. So I went from document to block as soon as I started on a block over here. See, when I was up here, over here, it's document over on the right. There's nothing actually to modify. There's no block that you get to modify in the title. But once you get into like a text block, I've got different paragraph things and, you know, things like that that I can do to this particular paragraph as far as that goes. And you'll see over here on the right hand side, I've got block, and I can actually do some different things. I can change font sizes and things like that, and yada yada. Don't worry about AMP. AMP is something I use just to make my posts streamlined in mobile. That's something for a different, there's a lot that's going to be for a different. So essentially what I did was I just dropped in a whole bunch of text, and what it did was it created these different paragraphs are all individual blocks. Nice and simple. So you can kind of scroll down and you can kind of go from block to block to block and kind of, scroll all the way down to whatever I did. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say typically you're going to write, because I want you to write in the editor typically, and write a block of paragraph or whatever, and you can do a couple of them, you can do whatever you want, and then go back and we can start editing those. And so if you need to navigate, you've got, by the way, this little guy up here, I'm really liking this because it will navigate to each one of these different paragraphs. So if I want to go all the way down to the bottom paragraph, and of course, I've got my little things. So, hey, by the way, I am sick as a dog. I haven't eaten anything in like, I don't know how many days, but we are just, the entire family, everything in the household is just sick as can be. So I'm hanging in there, but might make the video a little bit longer. What I want to do is I want to go back and, sorry, I'm going to go faster. And I want these guys, these are, I'm going to say, more my titles. I'm going to make those more headings kind of thing. And so I break up my text with a little bit bigger looking things. So I can change the block type. See that right there? I can change the block type, and I want to go, oh, I want to make you a heading. What do I want to make it? Do I want to make it an H3, an H2? The actual size of these are going to be determined more by your theme, but this is how you dictate, hey, this is a title. Now I can go down here and I go do the same thing. Boom. So very quickly I can go back in and I can change a bunch of my text that was just basic text and change it and separate it and do little things like that. Remember I told you about my Gutenberg posts here? Let me go over here and let's go back to, this is going to be my easiest way of getting there. And I'm going to click on this little Gutenberg link, which will pull up all of these. I'm just going to copy that as far as that goes. That's category archive page for Gutenberg posts. And I want to, right there, I want to make that a link. What do I want to make it a link for? I want to make it a link for Gutenberg. Boom, done. So you can go back and do all of your little text things. Never do all text. You want to throw in some images. Where am I? I am sick as a dog. So you know what? I'm going to go right in here, and I'm going to go right down there, and now I'm going to put in an image block. Now, I've already done images. I've already gotten them from a place that I know are wonderful, and I am going to upload an image right now that is, how about me sick in bed? So I've already resized this image. I've already titled it what I wanted to title it, and it's just an image that's going to go right there because, second caveat, I'm sick as a dog. And I'm going to write a little blah as far as that goes. So what I just did was I just put in this image. Now I'm not quite done yet because what I want to do is I want to style the image and I want to make sure that's aligned center. And you can go and you can do a couple of different things if you wanted to. You could also, by the way, you could resize this image nice and simply. But over here, I'm always going to give my images a alt text, and this is an SEO thing. Now, there's no SEO in me being sick, but I'm always going to add something there, and Google wants that. Now, my image size, I want it to be full size, and so there it is, and I know it's 1200. Now, my width, available width, is only somewhere around 700 for a full size on desktop, but I know WordPress is going to resize this for me. Do I want it to link to anything? No. Do I want AMP? No, as far as that goes. And so I can get into all these little advanced stuff as far as that goes, but I don't really want them. That's all I really want. So that's it for an image. Now, if you notice up here, I can go down, I've got a heading, I've got an image, I've got paragraphs, so I can manipulate different paragraphs and go pretty quick in this. So that gets you a good start. What I'm going to do now is add the rest of my post, because I just went all the way down to my second caveat, and I'm going to add the rest of my post and then show you the rest. Okay, for the sake of time, what I did was I copied all of this, put it in here, and then went back in and went through and changed what I wanted to change. So bolded things, gave things links as far as that goes. I got little calls to action, that kind of thing. So I've gone all the way through there with all the way down to the bottom. Here's what happened next is I realized, hey, I was going to put in bullet points. I need to show you how to do bullet points because I copied over here. I copied all of these bullet points. This is my bullet point section, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Well, what happened was when I came over here, I've got to scroll down. When I came over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, they put each one in as a separate block. So if you're going to do this, here's how you do bullet points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to change him, because now we know how to change him, right? And I'm going to say list. That is bullet points. So it is now a bullet point. But I need to change this one too. So I need to actually go back and do all of them. But really all I need to do is just click on the next one and hit backspace. And that puts it up into the next block. By the way, if you want, you can take your blocks, and which brings up a very good question. You could take your blocks and I want this one to be part of that next block, and you could do that. So if I do that, it goes back to being separate blocks. If I backspace, it goes into a single block. So it makes it really simple to do changes. So if you want to at any point add a, let's say we're going to add something, I could add a list that would be that bullet points, and you could come in here and you can say, you know what, I don't really want bullet points, I want numbers or whatever. And so you can kind of play with those, and you can add links, of course, and do all that kind of stuff. And remember, go back and you adjust all these, and if you have CSS classes, then you could do something like that too. So that's bullet points. Given that, my post is almost done. Now we're ready for I'm going to call it the last final section. We put in all the content, I've put in all the links, I've done everything. Now it's time to come over here to document. So every time I clicked on a block, essentially what it did was it went over to modify that particular block. Now I'm going into document, and the last thing I want to do is publish this yet, because I'm not quite ready. So remember, I'm going to do this as basic. So there's going to be a lot more SEO stuff down the road, but this is basic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right now just start scrolling down, and I want to put this in Gutenberg as far as a category. I'm going to pick my categories, and I've got 2 categories that this actually goes in, and I'm going to put WordPress. Now you notice it just said select the primary category. So what that means is my permalink structure is going to be areconnected.com / what do I put it in / the name of the post. So that category is where it's going to go. Well, I actually want it in WordPress, and I'm just doing this just to show you. So you can be in multiple different categories, but you should have, and you do have, I hope you do have a category system in place. You can do tags if you want. Tags, you can go hog wild and go crazy. Tags to me are not so useful. The other next thing is the most important thing, I think, and that's always set a featured image. Featured images in my particular post, these are featured images. So it's the image that shows up in a category archive page, or if you're on my home page, it'll show up on, these are all the featured images. And so always set a featured image. The other thing with featured images is when you share it over into Facebook, when you share it into Twitter, when you share it into LinkedIn, or really any of those social media networks, it's going to look for a featured image, and it's going to pull that featured image and show that. And so you want to set a featured image. If you don't, what it will pick is probably the worst possible image that you could think of. And typically I'll say that's usually your sidebar and it's this image, but sometimes it's, hey, TV mic. It always picks the worst image. Always set a featured image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and set a featured image. So what it's going to do is it's going to say, well, hey, you want this one? And actually what I want to do is I used that cup of tea by my bed as an image in my post, but I actually want to do something a little bit different. I've got another image that I'm going to use as a featured image, and so I'm going to put it up in here, and I'm going to click on select. So that's my featured image. So category, tags, you've got everything. And like I said, we'll get into the SEO part of it later. But right now we are generally all set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit publish. Then I'm going to produce this video. Then I'm going to put the video back in the post. But that's not part of this post. So that's it. Don't be afraid of Gutenberg. It's all there. It's really easy and it's really simple. Go write a post.